Welcome to this here day 227 from the TheSovereignLight, named after my ministry, and this is a course in metaphysical spirituality. How do you do? My name is Reverend Maria R. Vanatides. I'm so glad that you can join me here today. This is an audio-visual version of my book. 585 and 86 out of 852 pages that you will find on Patreon right from the very beginning. Won't you join my membership? And you can also find a lot of samples on my YouTube channel, Love's Creation Unlimited. And also my creator's name is capital R, small m, capital A. On Patreon, you might want to check that out. Go there and find us right from the beginning these practices. And with that said, take a few deep breaths in and out until you find your center, and expand it in a way that you are open, whether it be in a theta state, a gamma state, and whatever works best for you, to anchor in the heart and just center your consciousness down into your heart space, and from the soles of your feet all the way up your tailbone, all the way into your heart space center, and just open it up with every deep breath in. And so what does it mean to trust and surrender? And this is in continuation from before, as we continue on to learn more about this topic, this focus that we have been on these several lessons, and continuing, that you may opt to have your eyes closed or open for today's affirmation, activation, acknowledgement, and that might filter in to your awareness to see things differently and work through any notches or blocks that we might be experiencing. When a belief is challenged, the level of communication and community will show its loyalty to share and support the ghost-like distortions that they may be in truth original, stemming from the very thing that economically withholds the leads to control this current vibe from the support it brings. Anything other is a threat and must be dealt with appropriate outcast measures. So the rules are in place. If we don't follow them, there are many consequences, and unforetold ones as well, that we use to reprimand and punish others for not obeying and disobeying the rules and limitations and things we place upon them that they agree to compromise their awareness and their self-expression with, in loyalty to the tribe and its community, so it might best work for everyone, the greater good as they call it. And so with that, we strive and struggle to try to fit into these small little spaces. And if we don't, there's consequences to be met. And that's what keeps everybody in place, especially when they're unknown. That's even more fearful, you see. And so what is less is this love that we might experience. And when there's more of it, there's nothing really to fear. And if it's not defined these consequences, then they don't exist to begin with. Unless we start getting remorse and feeling guilty, then we can accept whatever it is that we have done that made us this way. And the consequences might be rejection. It might be blocking us out of their existence altogether. And so I'd like to hear you say these words out loud to help us guide us through the day, this day, today, and open us up to an expanded awareness that we might have not experienced before, that we might be able to work through these things, these challenges and opportunities that come to our awareness through these words that we speak and say. Not just think them, not just hear them out loud by me. Actually say them, repeat them, say them with me. My feelings will instruct me well and guide me to give praise, that I may love, basking in this inner glory, I find peace. My feelings will instruct me well and guide me to give praise, that I may love, basking in this inner glory, I find peace. My feelings will instruct me well and guide me to give praise, that I may love, basking in this inner glory, I find peace. It is true. By praying, the self can open up to all the blessings and as many it can cope with to accept and absorb and take in and be receptive. The purpose for the given ceremony to gather enough like minds and give consent, this is the very permission that it seeks to give reason for a celebration. To seek for something that the self can emphasize into creation, as it manifests when completely surrendered from resistance, is the peace it holds to trust again. The choice it must be made to merge the two worlds into one, and thus contraction and expansion, be it may, into the law of oneness. To separate from the oneness, the Trinity of Father, Mother, God appears, and then again back into the oneness. As life can breathe it in and take a breath, only to exhale it out again. My feelings will instruct me well and guide me to give praise, that I may love, basking in this inner glory, I find peace. Respect comes in many forms, including the selection to value one over another, will always keep it in the state that of good and evil, wrong and right. The self must realize that it is not in its advantage to keep the many from itself as separate. Just the same, the many separate from each other as they do when continuing on to seek a fleshy image of what they aspire as their God. The peace in rebirth of the self is not to be mistaken for a procreated act to dwell on for the denial of sex. Again, that it is one-sided in the making and incomplete. The being that requires to seek for another outside of itself in such a gay old time, and then deny it in this way as the God it seeks to find for peace, or else the war becomes it. Surely there has got to be a better way than this. And then to amplify and support today's affirmation, we can start to modify and create our very own prayer as well. And we can do this with the sample I have given. And you can help yourselves this opportunity to be guided along and repeat these words after me. My celebration, it comes from the inner sermon that gives rise to ceremony. From this, my life force, I will not separate myself to chase away a God, and by searching this idea for peace outside of me, my feelings will instruct me well and guide me to give praise that I may love, basking in this inner glory, I find peace. The purpose for today is to get over the duality already. By denying one over another and imposing judgment of good and evil onto it is a damnation. To allude with such a God and to ask for peace of undeniably suggests for the other. And when we constantly are in battle and in conflict with these things that further divide in variations, we are at war with ourselves and the illusions from outside of us that give way from our soul, from the source, when we become consciously aware in this way, that we amplify and give and make and strengthen that which opposes us and that which we oppose when it rejects us, and back and forth, rather than to unite and bring as one and close the gap into completion. So I will leave you with these words today to say throughout, and may it be a blessing. My feelings will instruct me well and guide me to give praise that I may love, basking in this inner glory, I find peace. My celebration, it comes from the inner sermon that gives rise to ceremony. From this, my life force, I will not separate myself to chase away a God, And by searching this idea for peace outside of me, my feelings will instruct me well and guide me to give praise, that I may love, basking in this inner glory, I find peace. My feelings will instruct me well and guide me to give praise, that I may love, basking in this inner glory, I find peace.